Well, hey everybody, it's Adam Gussow coming to you from my back porch in Oxford, Mississippi on a beautiful fall late afternoon on a Friday, and I was going to call this video Happy Blues because I put on a record that I just got in the mail. I heard Bob Porter talking about it on WBGO a few weeks back, and it's a record that's not available on CD. It's a Jay McShann record. Jay McShann was a Kansas City kind of stomping boogie woogie piano player. He was the guy whose band Charlie Parker was in early on. He plays happy blues. I mean, he can sing them sad, but basically blues is happy music. And what it made me suddenly think about was, I wanted to play along with it, and then I realized that it's a boogie woogie pattern. And then I said, well, of course, in the 13 years I've been doing this thing on YouTube, surely I have given you folks a sort of basic rundown of how to play boogie woogie on harmonica, and so I just do what I do if I want to know whether I'm just blathering and repeating myself. As I went to YouTube search engine, put in Gussow Boogie Woogie, and all I got were two videos, and they were both John Lee Hooker. Well, that's boogie baby, when John Lee Hooker does a boogie, that's one kind of boogie, but it's not boogie woogie. It's not sort of piano boogie woogie, and this is a crucial thing that every harmonica player who wants to kind of get up there, you're confronted with this kind of beat. It's not a shuffle beat. It's not a triplet rhythm. The beat's fairly brisk, and it's what we call 8 to the bar. That's what boogie woogie was. It was da 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 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? Sort of like a choo-choo train. That was the idea of a boogie woogie rhythm. Chugga chug chada chugga 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 da 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 da. And boogie woogie was a big deal in America in the 30s. James P. Johnson, and there's a number of other boogie woogie players. But for harmonica, not every player, but I would say every player needs to know how to play this. I remember Dr. Ross doing a boogie woogie. It's just something that harmonica players did because it was a well-known piano style, which is to say a well-known blues style. And I think if I were being a blues historian, I would say boogie woogie comes from the piney woods camps, and they sort of have one piano that would, you have players who would rotate. They'd come through, but the piano players, the early blues piano players, were not like guitar players. They didn't have a portable instrument. They didn't have a keyboard they'd plug in. You're not going to haul a piano on your back. So the piano was there in the chalk house or the block house, and the piano player would come through and do his thing and make his money and move on. Anyway, let's talk about, what can we do? So I'll show you a very basic, if I wanted to do Boogie Woogie Harmonica 101, what would I do? And I'm using a C harp, and I'm gonna lip purse this whole thing. So I'm just gonna, and I haven't thought this through, so we're improvising a little bit. But if I wanted to teach somebody the most basic, so beginner, not what I was doing up front, but the beginner thing. Now, of course, that's not Harmonica 101, and I knew that the moment that I went to the one draw and then realized I'm going to go, which of course, is not exactly the same thing I did the first time around. So but let's just start, let's start with the basics. Let's start with what you're going to do on the first 4 chords, the 1 chord section. And I think I'll probably do another one of these videos because I can't show you the more advanced stuff, which is the fun stuff. And of course the tongue blocking stuff. I kind of, cheat and do a lot of tongue blocking, but let's lip purse it. So what did I do? Well, the basic idea is that I'm going up 2 draw, 3 draw, 4 draw, 5 blow, 6 blow, and then back down. All right? So let's just first do single notes. Can you find those notes again? 2 draw, 3 draw, 4 draw, 5 blow, 6 blow, and then back down. 5 blow, 4 draw, 3 draw, 2 draw. So if you're a raw beginner, no bends necessary, no fancy footwork, that line, if you were sitting on a park bench, if you're sitting on a park bench, the proverbial Gussow park bench where people will talk to you if you play, and you just went, now what you'll notice is that I'm tonguing every note. And this is actually important. When I say tonguing, I don't mean tongue blocking, but I mean that little tongue tap on the roof of your mouth, sort of forward behind your rabbit teeth. I tend to do it forward, not right, so it's forward. It's not right on the teeth. So I'm going ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and that's important because the Boogie Woogie has a kind of propulsive rhythm. You can't get the propulsive rhythm if you don't have some kind of basic tongue action. So I'm going 2. Now I'm sliding. My lips are moist enough. You use a little, either wet your lips or use a little lip grease, whatever, chapstick. And of course you need to change direction at the appropriate moment from the 4 draw to the 5 blow. And notice that we're not using the 5 draw. That's an acceptable substitute, so I could actually go. Of course, a lot of rock and roll. Rock around the clock, I have a lesson on that at Modern Blues Harmonica, but this is not about that. So I'm just doing up and then down. Now, to get the Boogie Woogie thing, I've got to do 2 notes, and this is where the subtleties come in. I've got to do 2 notes for every note. I've got to hit each note twice. And here, a very important principle that I think I discovered for myself, certainly nobody showed me, but I think it makes sense, which is if you're repeating, if you're staying on a hole and you're doing it twice, you tongue both times. 2 draw, twice. But anytime you slide on a draw note, you don't have to tongue the first one. So I tongued the first 2, then I slid and I tongued the 4th note. I didn't tongue that 3rd note. I mean, I could. In fact, if I wanted to do dun da 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 da. So there I might, that's a different groove though, right? It's a different groove. In this case though, if I want the shika shika shika, the kind of boogie woogie feel, then all I need to do is when I switch from hole 2 to hole 3, I don't need to tongue it. So there I tongued 2, then I slid and tongued, then I slid and tongued again, then I slid. So it doesn't matter if you're changing direction, same thing. When you change hole, you don't have to tongue that first note because the articulation is produced by the simple fact of moving from hole to hole. You got to tongue the second one though. So the only note of that entire sequence that I tongue twice is the initial 2 draw. Let's just make sure of that. This is such an incredibly important principle. It's something nobody's going to teach you, but if you don't do it, it doesn't work. The whole riff doesn't work. Again, I'm trying to walk and chew gum. Wow. So hear that tap? That's the tempo. Let's go a little slower. So that's the first 4 bars. I do that pattern up and down, and then I repeat up and down. That gets us through 4 bars. What do you do when you get to the 4 chord? Well, you're going to do the same notes relative to the chord, which is to say root, 3rd, 5th, major 6th, octave, major 6th, 5th, 3rd, root, but you're going to do them on the 4 chord. So instead of, you're going to go, doesn't that sound nice? That's just the movement from 1 chord to 4 chord, but exactly the same intervals relative to the chord. Of course, they're a little, if you're thinking in cross harp terms, that's basically a first position lick, not a cross harp lick. So what did I do there? And it was Nat Riddles, my teacher, who showed me this, and it sort of blew my mind. He was like, it's like, wow, that's what you do on the 4 chord, but that's what you do on the 4 chord for a beginning boogie woogie. So I'm going 4 blow to 5 blow to 6 blow. Root, 3rd, 5th on the 4 chord. It's basically 4 chords a key of C, so it's 4 blow, 5 blow, 6 blow. Seven blow, 6 draw, 6 blow, 5 blow, 4 blow. So let's do the first 8 bars of this Boogie Woogie Blues. Simplest Boogie Woogie Blues. And of course you're going to do it the first time. First make sure you can do the notes and keep them in your head and move smoothly between them and get everything right that way before you double each note. So get single notes first. So here would be the first 8 bars, super simple. But it's not simple, but it's the simplest we can do. And then back down. And at that point we've done 8 bars. Now I'm going to double the notes. I'm going to do a real boogie woogie beat, not too fast. And that's probably as fast as you want to go when you're learning this, no faster at all. You know, and when I'm teaching it, like when I'm doing it this slowly and I'm thinking it, it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of moving. It's going to be hard to process all of this and crunch it down and fully internalize it, but you need to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to double everything. And even, look at me, 40, how many years I've been playing and I'm still messed it up, so it's okay to mess it up. It's okay, and eventually it's going to turn out that just kind of getting velocity and feel is just as important as getting all of the notes right. It's good to get them right, but the feel is everything with this. So now I left one thing out, which is, I'm sure you remember when I did it the first time on the 4 chord. Let's leave that out for now, okay? So that was the whole, I'll do it again. I'm going to do 2 notes on every one. So what do you do? That's the way I like to do it, but it's a little bit tricky to do that whole step bend on the 3. But let me show you what I did. So this is bar 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now the question is, what do I do? What do I actually do as opposed to what do I simplify it in something into that you can do? If I were really playing it, that's probably what I would do. Or no, I wouldn't do that. Okay, well, so let me work it into something that is playable for you. And here's the interesting thing: I would not do double time on double notes on that. I'd go, instead of, no, I wouldn't. I'd go, or, no, I wouldn't. All right, I'm going to give you something. Here we go. Let me do it simple. That'll work. That'll work. That was kind of super simplified. That time I changed the timing a little bit. See, I'm always, and this is the way blues works, I'm always changing, messing with it, effing with it. God, man, I'm getting to the point where I can play it, but I can't teach it anymore. All right, so that's Boogie Woogie 101 on the harmonica. Now, the fun. So, you know, Kim Wilson on Jumpin' Bad would be an example of this kind of playing. It's just so important. This whole, in fact, I think a lot of his stuff comes out of, if you actually break it down, comes out of this kind of boogie woogie thing. Well, that's long enough for now. That was just a taste, but I think there's more of this boogie woogie thing to come. So, back with you soon. It's Good Doctor on the back porch, and you know, get yourself a drink. It's Friday in Mississippi. I think I'll do that.